Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Oklahoma State football predictions for the 2019 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the channel. It will be greatly appreciated if you do that. We have a goal of 200 subscribers. I would love to hit that goal, so if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. We're gonna go over the pros and cons for Oklahoma State, then your best case and worst case scenario, then your three toughest and three easiest games. Then I'm gonna go through the schedule game by game, tell you which games I have Oklahoma State winning and losing, give you a score as well, and then give you the final record prediction and conference record prediction. One more note before I continue: do not hold me to the game by game picks or the scores of the games I'm picking. Just hold me to the final record at the end. Anyways, we're going to start off with the pros and cons. Two pros and one con. Your first pro is the offense. Oklahoma State always seems to have at least a pretty good offense, sometimes an outstanding offense, but this year I think it's just going to be pretty good. Oklahoma State is going to be the type of team that's going to be in a lot of shootouts this year because of their offense. So that's a pro. And then the second pro is your head coach, Mike Gundy. Listen, I never count out Mike Gundy. He's probably one of my top 10 or 15 favorite coaches in the country. So definitely someone that I never count out. Mike Gundy there at Oklahoma State with the Cowboys. So Mike Gundy is your second pro. Your only con though, you do have one con, and it's pretty obvious what it is. It's the defense. Listen, Oklahoma State, they basically quit on playing defense. They don't play defense. It'll be amazing if Oklahoma State holds a team under 20 points this season outside of an FCS opponent. But anyways, those are your pros and cons. Now let's go through your best case and worst case scenario. Here's the schedule right here in front of you. Your best case scenario is 11-1. Your worst case scenario is 6-6. This is a pretty easy schedule. I said 11-1. I look at the Texas game. I look at the Iowa State game. I look at the Oklahoma game. I think you're going to lose at least one of those three games. So that's why I went ahead and said best case scenario 11-1, and then 6-6 as your worst case scenario. You lose those three games, and then you slip up against teams like maybe like West Virginia, Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU. I mean, teams like that. You slip up against some of those teams as well. So that's why your worst case scenario is 6-6. Remember, Oklahoma State only went 3-6 last year in the Big 12. Your three toughest games, I already kind of gave it away. Texas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma. To me, those are the best three teams in the Big 12. In no particular order, basically. Obviously, but I will say probably Oklahoma has the upper hand on those two teams. But those are your three toughest teams right there that you're going to be facing this year. And then your three easiest games this upcoming season is going to be McNeese, Tulsa, and Kansas. McNeese, FCS opponent. Tulsa, one of the worst teams in the American. And then Kansas, the worst team in the Big 12. Now let's go through your schedule game by game. I'll tell you which games I have Oklahoma State winning and losing. Your first game of the year is on the road against a Pac-12 team, Oregon State on the road. Oregon State is the worst team in the Pac-12, so I do expect Oklahoma State to win this game. I do think this game could be competitive in the first half, though. Oregon State does have a decent offense that I think will put up some points on the board, but Oklahoma State is just has a lot more offense, and they're going up against a pretty bad defense in Oregon State. 59-24 Oklahoma State. Next game is against McNeese. McNeese, FCS opponent. I have Oklahoma State winning this one 55-14. Next game at Tulsa. I do think Tulsa could stay in this game for maybe a quarter, but that's just about it. I think Oklahoma State goes in there and beats them on the road 51-21. Next game is at Texas. This is your first real test of the year, in my opinion. Texas is a team that thinks they're back, even though they're not. But anyways, Texas is a team. They're gonna have one of the better defenses in the Big 12, which means they're probably gonna slow down your offense somewhat. And I think that's gonna be enough. The game's also in Austin. I have Oklahoma State losing this game, 45-35, Texas. And if you saw my Texas football prediction video, you already knew that I had Texas in that game. Next game is against Kansas State. Kansas State is a team with a new head coach. They're probably going to be in the bottom of the Big 12 this year. Even though I do think they'll be pretty competitive, I think they'll be definitely competitive somewhat in this one. But at the end, I have to go with Oklahoma State. They're just a better team in my opinion. 40-24, Oklahoma State. Next game at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is going to be one of the teams in the bottom of the Big 12, but they're going to be in a lot of these ball games, Texas Tech, in my opinion. And personally, I went back and forth with this one. I'm calling for the upset. I'm going to say Texas Tech beats Oklahoma State. The game is in Lubbock, Texas, so that's definitely a big time advantage for Texas Tech. I think this game is definitely going to be a shootout going into the 50s, in my opinion. But I have Texas Tech pulling off the upset here, 56-51. Texas Tech, and then Oklahoma State. They go into their first bye week. Every team gets 2 bye weeks because of how their calendar aligns with the schedule this year. But coming off the bye week is your homecoming game against Baylor, a Baylor team that people are definitely thinking that could be a dark horse. Personally, I'm not really buying into that. And I think Oklahoma State beats them. I think it'll be a very competitive game. But I think Oklahoma State, with the game being in Stillwater and the game being the homecoming game, I think that just puts Oklahoma State over the top over Baylor. And I have Oklahoma State winning this one 48-41. Next game at Iowa State. If you already saw my Iowa State football prediction video, you already know who I have in this one. To me, Iowa State is the better team. The game is in Ames, Iowa. I went with Iowa State 49-37. Iowa State. I just think Iowa State is a much better team than Oklahoma State, in my opinion. Next game, TCU. TCU is a team that they always seem to be in the upper half of the Big 12. Personally, I think that TCU might even be a little bit better than Oklahoma State, but since the game's in Stillwater, I'm going to go with the home field advantage. This might be a minor upset, but I have Oklahoma State winning this game 42-35 over TCU. Then you get your second bye week, and then coming off your second bye week, you get Kansas at home. This will be a win for Oklahoma State, a pretty easy win. I do think Kansas could be in this one for a little bit, but I have Oklahoma State winning this game 52-23. Next game at West Virginia. This is kind of a trap game for Oklahoma State because you have Oklahoma after this one. West Virginia is a team. To me, they're going to be a middle of the road team in the Big 12. A lot of people are kind of down on them. I've even seen predictions like 2-10 for West Virginia. I disagree with that, and I actually think West Virginia pulls off the upset here against Oklahoma State. I have it by field goal. I think this is going to be a shootout like the Texas Tech game, but West Virginia comes on top 55-52 over Oklahoma State. And then your last game of the season at home against Oklahoma, the Belmont game. This is a rivalry game, in-state rivalry game. If you already saw my Oklahoma football prediction video, you already know who I have in this one. I think this game's going to go back and forth. I really do. It's an in-state rivalry game. I think Oklahoma State's going to pull off the upset and get them. The game's in Stillwater. I think Oklahoma State is going to pull off the upset. Oklahoma is going to be riding high at this point. I have them 11-0 coming into this one. I think Oklahoma State ends the undefeated season. Since Oklahoma State's really just kind of playing for pride at this point because they already locked up everything they need to lock up. And I do have Oklahoma State pulling off the upset here by a touchdown, 52-45 Oklahoma State. So that's my game right there. If you count up all the wins and losses, I have Oklahoma State going 8-4 with a 5-4 conference record. 8-4 with a 5-4 conference record. This is pretty good if you're Oklahoma State. You'll definitely get into a decent bowl game, maybe even the Alamo Bowl, because 8-4 with a 5-4 conference record in the Big 12, in my opinion, is pretty good. But anyways, that's my prediction for Oklahoma State. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. Oklahoma State's going to be going. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated if you do that. Thanks for watching, and this is McD the Beast signing off.